So many people have asked me how my retro keyboards look so good. And I actually picked up this little gem this weekend at an estate sale, and it didn't always look this good. So I thought I'd give you a little quick tour of how I actually clean them up like this. And then after that, I'll give you a quick little demonstration of it. Okay, so this is how it originally looked. You might need to switch to high definition just to see how filthy this is. This is actually about average. I've acquired keyboards in worse shape than this, as well as better. You can see it's mostly just dust, but there's 33 years worth of buildup between the keys and the buttons. The price tag says $15, but I actually only paid $7 for it since the estate sale was almost over and they were trying to really move stuff. So I start just by giving all of the surfaces a quick wipe down, but that isn't really going to cut it. I also noticed another problem. The plastic seems warped on the side. I think it's not snapped together correctly. Time to check the battery compartment. Yikes. What a nightmare. I probably should have worn some gloves for this. I wonder how old these batteries are. The acid had built up on the battery compartment cover too, so fortunately I could scrape it off with a screwdriver. So, time to start disassembling. I saw what was causing the warped side plastic. This plastic catch piece on the side had bent over on itself. I don't know if it came from the factory like that, or if somebody took it apart and didn't reassemble it correctly. Anyway, I bent the piece back so at least the keyboard would fit back together smoothly. Wow, check this out. It has an 8085 processor inside. So that's quite unusual for a keyboard like this. In fact, it shares the same microprocessor as my Tandy 102, as well as some other CP/M machines. This chip appears to be a ROM chip, but I'm not sure how large. These appear to be 2 kilobyte SRAM chips, giving it a total of 4 kilobytes of RAM. And here's the synthesizer chip. This is actually not an FM synthesizer. Yamaha was not using those during 1983, at least to my knowledge. Okay, so the next thing to do is remove the keyboard mechanism. Once I start getting the keys off, you can see why this needs to be done. There was 33 years of gunk build up between and underneath these keys. After reassembling, you can see how clean the keys are now. These slide switches are hard to clean, so what I always do is pop the switches off, and then I use a screwdriver and a wet paper towel to clean the recessed parts. Now I just have 9 more of these to do. Also, there is this transposer knob. Fortunately, I do not need to remove it, but the same technique works to clean it. And last, I use a toothbrush to clear out the gunk out of the speaker grill. So now you can see the finished result. It came out looking pretty good. Let me show you some other interesting things about this keyboard. It has this multi-menu feature. I've never seen anything quite like it. And notice it has an option for loading and saving to tape. If you look on the back, there are in and out jacks for a tape drive. So I looked up the manual online, and it turns out this thing can actually load and save digital data to a cassette tape, much like a Commodore 64 or an Apple II would have back during this time period. Apparently you can create custom compositions and instrument patches and stuff like that and then save them, and then you can load them back in later and work on them some more. It's actually pretty amazing. One unusual thing is the mechanical style push buttons. Whatever instrument you leave it on, it'll stay that way next time you power it on. Here's a sample of some of the built-in instruments.
Of course, you can use the multi-menu feature to custom design your own sounds. On this menu, you can pick primary and secondary waveforms. And then over here, you can select different envelope patterns.
So because the synthesizer on this keyboard has more in common with a Commodore 64 than it does with, say, an ad-lib chip or some other FM type keyboard, I thought I would perform the famous Synth song from Commodore 64 fame. So this is a fantastic little gem of a keyboard. I can't believe I only paid $7 for it. I wish I could find more deals like that. I bet this thing was pretty expensive back in 1983. I can't seem to really find any prices for it. I look forward to bringing you a full review on this keyboard at some point in the future, as well as doing some kind of multi-track performance on it. Until then, I'll see you next time.